Hi folks, here's our project single page. So if you want to have a page about single individual projects, we have one here so you can have a little slider up here of the different projects, a little bit of information. Then down below we have related projects. And this is kind of a cool carousel because it has a bit of a different heading and description. We also have the link and we have the lightbox button in it as well. Now, this is a little bit different than some of the other carousels we've worked with because we're using 3 images instead of 4. That way we can actually show off that you can use rectangular images as opposed to all square. And we've also, the default image, and you know in most of our carousels that we've used the same image for the lightbox as we have for the thumbnail. Well, in this case, we wanted to show off that, yeah, you could use a really large thumbnail image because I've often spoke about use the same size where you can. I also need to demonstrate that guess what, you can actually use a larger image if you want to. The key is really keeping things in proportion. If it's a square image, it should stay square, so 400 by 400 or 300 by 300, and then if it's a rectangle right here, it should stay in proportion, right? So when I click open, we get a really big pic right here, but it's a rectangle pic. And let me just jump into this and I'll explain how to make the updates. We'll just go into our site, we'll go to our pages folder and our project single. We'll just open that up right here. There's our related carousel, so we'll just sort of right click and open file. Now here's the size of the pic. I'm going to double click and we'll take a look at the appearance, and the image size is 1140 by 800. Now the key into keeping things maintain their proportions is you could use a smaller image if you're going to. I'd suggest 570 by 400. Cut the width in half and cut the height in half. Other than that, go with 1140 by 800 so that things look really good. And one of the keys, one of the troubleshooting things we run into quite often is when folks say, hey, how come my carousel or my info boxes don't look the same? And when we take a look at the sources, because the images being used aren't the same size images, or they're not based off the same dimensions. And that's really the key. You can put whatever size images you want into these components. Just make sure that they're same dimensions, really. So like I said, square is square and rectangle is rectangle. But if you're using rectangle images, at least make sure they're all the same size or the same proportion, right? And then things at least look the same from one to the other, and your visitors will have a good experience. So updating, we've got our big image 1140 by 800 right there. We'll drop it into the library components carousels, and then we have the related folder right here and images. There's the pictures right there. I'll just go and drop this right in. I will double click, hit the browse button, go to my library, components, carousels, and the related folder. Finally, the images folder right there. And we'll look for the new one, which is right here. That's the one we just added in. Boom, and OK. And finally, I'll just do a double click appearance, and I'll get rid of the specify size. So now we've updated the actual image. Then we have the heading, or the heading here, and the description. The heading is an H3 tag. We want to make sure we keep the tag, and the paragraph tag right here, or the paragraph, which is just a description. Boom, change those 2 bits. And that would be the image, the heading here, and the description. That's those pieces there. Finally, we have the link, and we have the lightbox. We want to make sure we update those 2 bits of information as well. So with the picture selected that you've just replaced, go to the code view, right? And where we have the 1140 by 800 JPEG up here, copy that, look for the fancy box down below, just that many lines down below, and replace the link right there, so that when you click on the lightbox, this is the image that will show up. And you can actually use a different size image, a different image you want. Like I said, in this particular carousel, this is one of those examples where we used a really large image to start with, and we were using that same large image for our lightbox, but we were allowing the component styles and whatnot to resize the image to fit into the 3 containers that you see down here, and then when you click here, the image goes to its full size after that. Right. And the other thing, of course, is the link right here. If you wanted to link this particular image to a web page, you would need to look for the thumb link and then manually type in the name of the link right here. And my little trick to working with links where you just see the A tag is, if you're going to use a page in your website, drag a copy of that page in, drop it, go get everything within the double quotes, cut it out of there, just a Control X, and then Control V right here, and then get rid of the extra select tag with that leftover A, and then boom, get rid of it. And that's it.